at Boston International School in Wuxi in China. Drama and film is what I teach. It's very important for children to learn about confidence building. They get that from drama, but they also get that from film as well, because film shows us various cultures from around the world. What do you know about cultures from nations you've never been to? The chances are probable that you've seen it in the news, in the TV show, read about it in a book, maybe heard it in music, or watched it in a film. More importantly than me being a drama and a film teacher is that drama and film have also taught me. When I was 10 years old, I made the mistake of watching The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. That was a big mistake. But actually, it's the reason I'm standing on the stage, because that film terrified the hell out of me and really gave me a lot of trauma, and I'm still working my way through it some 20-odd years later. Drama and film have taught me a lot. I think probably one of the most important things it's taught me about is the art of persuasion. When you get to see the story from someone else's point of view. I am a filmmaker and I've won awards, thank you. I am a writer of novels and 6 of them have been bestsellers. None of this would have happened if I wasn't able to see it from the other person's point of view. No bad guy in a film thinks they're the bad guy. No good guy thinks, actually no, the good guys do think they're good guys, that's the whole point. But there are shades of grey, no one is one thing nor the other. There's only really been 2 passions in my life, and I'm not really talking about family and friends and stuff like that. My 2 personal passions are storytelling and travel. Because one feeds the other, and the other feeds the first one. I'm a big believer in travel, which is why I've visited close to 100 countries in my lifetime. And since moving to China during COVID, many of those countries were in the last 3 years. In 2023, during the 6-week break, when the restrictions from COVID were lifted, I went on a world tour, which I affectionately called World Tour 1. I started in Shanghai, I worked my way around the world. I went to Thailand, I went to Borneo, particularly Brunei, ended up in Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, across the international date line over to Hawaii, then I went to Toronto, then Mexico, Cancun, Mexico City, Miami, the Bahamas, I went back to the UK. And I did all of that in 3 weeks. 48 hours each stop. And the number one question I get asked is, wasn't that exhausting? And the answer is yes, but not for the reasons you think. The exhausting part was planning all of it, figuring out where the airport was, where the hotel was, how much time I needed in this place and this place, figuring out what I wanted to see, and so on and so on and so on. The planning was the exhausting bit. The actual undertaking of the actual physical part of it was the easy bit. And that's the second question. 50% of that is sheer boredom, waiting at airports, being on airplanes, that kind of thing. 40% of it is fun, going to see these places that you've made the effort to travel to. And 10% of it is sheer terror. Your plane has been cancelled, which is an annoyance if you're on a 2-week holiday, but when you're on a 48-hour global hop, that can cause problems. And it's happened to me a number of times. Happened to me in World Tour 1 in 23, World Tour 2 in 24, and World Tour 3 in 25. Which leads me beautifully to this question. That's right, you've spotted it. It's not a question, it's a statement. It can save your life. It saved my life a few times. June, close to 2 years to the actual date, in 2024, I was halfway through a world tour. And I arrived at my destination. But I'm not going to reveal which country it was, Jordan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refer to it as Katie. I arrived in Katie around about 9 o'clock in the morning. in the Middle East. Never been there before. I'd heard terrible things about it, mainly because I'd watched the news and I'd seen the films and everything else. Nevertheless, it didn't put me off. I went there anyway. Got into the terminal, took out my phone, and what do you know, Uber actually works. Brilliant. So I order an Uber inside the terminal, and I get one, and I pay for it, and everything's fine. I go outside the terminal just to see what was going on in the 50-degree heat. It was sweltering. So I go and sit down. Then, from behind me, a guy walks up. Dark-skinned guy, short hair, maybe 2/3 my height. And he says to me, "Excuse me, did you pay $35 for Uber?" And I said, "Actually, yes, I did. I'm going 45 minutes out north of Katy." And he said, "Okay, I take you there, $20. Pause there. 2 countries earlier, I'd been in Kazakhstan, midnight. I'd accepted a ride from a guy there and everything was fine. Pause. I go, "Yeah, okay then." I stand up and I walk with him. And he talks to a police officer at the terminal as we're walking towards his car. I'm thinking, well, this is all fine then. This is all great, lovely stuff. He takes my phone out of my hand, looks at Uber, cancels it, and then gives the phone back to me. And I think, wow, that's a hell of a service from this guy. I like this. So I've got my rucksack, I'm walking, I'm following the guy, and we get to his car. He gets in the driver's seat. In this country, the driver's seat is on the left. They drive on the left. I get in behind him on the right. So I have a diagonal view of him as he's driving. And then I see in the back of his head, he's got a shape buzzed into the back of his hair. Now I know who this guy is. And we zoom off 120 kilometers a mile. No, 120 kilometers per hour. He gets on his phone, starts going, "Ah!" really shouting at someone, then spins round down to arrivals, because departures is up the top, down to arrivals, and the person he's been shouting at runs over to the car, gets in the passenger seat right in front of me with 2 large bags. Just before I got my phone back, or just after, I took a picture of his license plate. I always do that. It's a good tip if you travel. Every time you get on a bus, a plane, a train, a boat, or whatever it might be, particularly a taxi, take a photo of the license plate. You never know when you're going to need it. So, Katy, I'm in the middle of the country. We are going out on a freeway. We can go north to where I'm staying in the Mackay hotel, or we can go south to actually where I really wanted to visit, which is a film location. Anyway, so, middle of the country, we're going along the freeway. And now I'm starting to worry because this guy is shouting at his friend and his friend is shouting at him. And I'm in the back with my rucksack, like a little good British boy, not wanting to complain or do anything that might annoy these guys even further. So, I turn my phone on, but my SIM is Chinese and it won't let me go on the Google Maps. So I turn on the VPN and it won't switch on. Maps isn't working here. Eventually it does switch on and we turn right to go north. And good Lord for that. So we're going north. The map starts working. And these two won't shut up. I mean, they're really going for each other. It's almost like a fight was going to break out in the front seats. And I'm in the back thinking, well, this is just a custom that they have there. I'll leave them to it, no problem. 20 minutes, I'll be in my hotel, that's fine. Problem is, we're going north and I'm wondering if we're going to turn off at the right junction to get to where I'm going. And instead of that, I go quiet and see that we are going towards the hotel. But then, they turn off on a slip road. Now this particular country, Katy, is just a desert. Nothing, just sand all over the place in the freeway. So, slip road. They park up, guy in front, the driver, turns around and goes, "You, get out!" Why? No, just get out, back, out, you go. So I get out, obviously, and I'm just standing there. The guy, the driver, gets out and goes, you, see him over there? Yeah. You go in his car. story there. What would you do if you were in this position? I don't want to know the answer. But what would you do if you were in this position right now in the middle of nowhere, in a country you've only heard mostly bad things about, some good things, that's why I went. But what would you do? You think you have an answer, you think you know what you would do, but what you actually do could be different. So I obliged him. I said, yeah, okay. So I went over, and this little version of him is by the other car, and his friend front in the passenger seat has his 2 bags, and he's walking over as well. So I follow the little guy over to the other car. He says, you're going to hotel. Which hotel? And I said, the Marriott. I go, okay. In the driver's seat he went, I went into the back. The friend with the 2 bags went into the front as well, and we drove off at 120 kilometres again. This time still going north, but I'm looking at my map about 4 minutes later, and we've missed the turning to go to my hotel. And now I'm starting to worry. Every second that ticks by, I'm thinking, where are we going? We're heading towards Syria. So, I start to sweat. My hands start to shake. It's not something I'm used to anymore, but it does happen. Then I thought, well, something's got to be done. So here's what I did, and I'm going to reenact it now, live, before your very eyeballs. Hello, Dad. Dad, yeah, it's me. Yeah, landed perfectly on time. No, funny enough, no, not Uber. No, a very nice gentleman came and offered to take me to the hotel for half the price, or close to half the price anyway. Listen, Dad, I can't talk right now because I'm in the car, but can you tell the other officers that I'm on my way there now? When I get there, I'll change into my uniform. And can you tell the desk sergeant to meet me at the front, to give me my bag before I go in? Just get all the other sergeants to come and meet me at the front of the hotel. At home. J204 8BL. The license plate. Okay, yeah. Alright, yeah. No, Google Maps is telling me 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thanks. Bye. In the rearview mirror, I see the driver's eyes look at mine as I'm doing that call, and look and stare at me when I put the phone down, and I just stare back. 10 seconds later, he pulls over to the side of the road. Now this could go one way or another, in the middle of nowhere. And he said, "You, get out!" I said, "What? You, get out. We are busy, we have something else to do." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yes." I'm going to pause the story there and tell you that 2 minutes earlier, the bit between the driver and the passenger, the compartment in the middle, as they were driving, just before I did the call, the passenger had bags of cigarettes, contraband no doubt, I don't know, but out came a Tupperware box, a very lock and lock box, see-through, and it had what looked like washing up detergent in there. And he did open it, and he inspected it. Now, to be fair, that could have been washing up powder. It could have been. And then he put it back down. And that is what inspired the phone call. Anyway, we're now parked. He's ordered me out. And at that point, the British in me went, "Hang on a minute, I've paid jolly good money to be in this car. Why don't you take me to my destination?" It's amazing what happens when you panic. I said, "Do you want your money?" No, it's okay, no, you get out. So I get out. Close the door shut nicely, and he speeds off, leaving me in the middle of nowhere, in the desert. I turned around, and you'll never guess what I saw. Starbucks, in the industrial estate, just over there. So, I went into the Starbucks, opened the door, and went, "Oh, God." That was close. Then I took out my phone and ordered an Uber, and the Uber came 5 minutes later and took me to the Marriott Hotel. And here's the punchline. Now I know why they did what they did. As we got to the hotel, there's a slip road going to the hotel. And as you go into the slip road, there's a box with a barrel, like a front of the school. 2 security guards come out, one with a dog, big down boy, and the other one with a swab. They roll down the Uber driver rolls down the window and the swab comes in. Will, footwell, him, back, me, the lot. And the dog sniffs round the car, as dogs tend to do. And then he drove a few feet forward and let me out and everything was well. And I had a wonderful time. Apart from this story, everything else was great. The people were great. Everything was great. The food, Mansaf, was great. I don't think 2 things. This is the first thing I don't think. I don't think that they were going to do anything to me. I think, instead, what they were going to do is get close to the hotel and kick me out early, so I could walk around the corner. That would have probably been okay, provided nothing got on my shoe. The second thing I think is this. Drama can save your life. Because if I'm wrong about this, if I'm wrong about that story and it had ended badly, then you would be watching an empty stage with a different PPT up here. So yes, drama can save your life, and as I said, it is one of a dozen stories that has saved my life, but we haven't got time for it anymore. And the art of persuasion. And we know this is true, because everything I've just said has been a complete and utter lie. Or has it? Thank you.